Today is Wednesday, New Year's Eve, and as always, there is so much to be thankful for. And in all things, God is good. So I give thanks in all things. Even in those circumstances or those situations that I'm just not thankful for, I will be thankful through it all. Today, I am still on the road. I've made it to my destination. I am at Joshua Tree National Park. I'm not here to camp. I'm not here to hike. But I am here. I'm here to see it. To just take it in. And I'm thankful for the journey, not just the journey on the road to this park, but for the journey in my life to this day. I'm thankful for the journey. Through it all, it's so easy to say God has been good, but it's true. I'm thankful that on maybe, 20-something years ago on New Year's Eve, I was a teenager and I was experiencing a severe depression. And I remember going to a New Year's Eve service, which I probably mentioned in my testimony video. A year ago, I probably posted that video. But I went to a New Year's Eve watch night worship service at a church where my brother sang in the choir. And it was just me and him. And he was in the choir, so I was sitting in the congregation. It's a big church, too. And it was a wonderful service. And I don't even remember why I chose to go with him. Because he had a lot of friends. They were very active. Him and the young group of people in the church, they were big into music and into throwing Christian parties. And I went, and as we were praising in the new year, I decided to sing and participate, even though I was just so depressed. And as I was singing and praising God, and as the new year came in, something just lit up in that sanctuary, and I felt God lift that depression off of me in a way that gave me so much joy and gave me a praise. I really lived off that testimony and the beauty of what he did in that moment for years and years and years and years. And in prayer today, as I was thinking, how do I make meaning out of being at this park today? Because the skies are going to be gray. It might be raining. There won't be as many picturesque moments. I know it'll still be beautiful because it's just the mountains, the deserts, the interesting agriculture or whatever, the plant life. I knew it would be beautiful, but how do I make meaning out of this day? And as I began to pray, God took me back to just the different breakthroughs of joy, the different breakthroughs of deliverance, the different phases of his goodness through the years. And I began to see my journey to this point differently, my journey to this day differently. I began to appreciate that even through all my mistakes, even through all of the deceptions, even through all of the heartaches, that God was truly with me. It was like the Holy Spirit was showing me how he was with me through it all. He never left me. He never threw me away. He never rejected me. And he would keep giving me breakthroughs. He would keep giving me strength. He would keep giving me revelation. And so I'm sitting here thankful for the journey of my life. and I made some mistakes. Oh, I made some mistakes. But I don't think I've ever been able to appreciate as much as I am right now God's grace through those mistakes. So, and the lessons, I mean, I want to be more specific. I'm grateful for, being in college and how when I joined a sorority, the Holy Spirit convicted me so deeply about that. And it took so much courage to denounce it and to walk away from it, because I knew it would be so much social backlash. But he gave me the courage, and I did it, and I don't regret it. It's I don't regret it, because he came in and showed up and ministered to me through walking away from that sorority. That I wouldn't trade it for the world. I don't miss it. I wouldn't take back that choice. I haven't doubted that choice. The enemy has tried to pop up in these little subtle, unexpected, weird ways. Like, I would have a lot of dreams about the different people, but eventually I just started praying for the people because I cared about the people that I met. But I knew that the institution, organization, the function, the practices just wasn't for me. It wasn't what God had for me. It wasn't his will for me. It was pushing me down a path that was unpleasing to him for me. I don't know about nobody else, but for me, he made it very clear he was not pleased. And I thank him for the strength to obey him. And I thank him for the journey afterwards. And I don't always think about how big that time was for me, because at the same time I'm making that decision to obey him, I still struggle so bad with lust, sexual lust, so bad. Even through my teenage years, even through all the good things he was doing for me. And that struggle at that time, it opened me up to some deceptions about a young man that I had knew that I had been sleeping with around that time. And my mind, my mental health, and my mom was sick too, and my mental health was so fragile. I didn't realize how fragile I really was, especially when my mom was sick. And she was only getting sicker and sicker. And I just could not see past the deception that the enemy was selling me about this young man and how I was supposed to be with him. And what the craziest part was, I didn't even like this particular young man that much. It was a different guy that I was really caught up on in college. But somehow the enemy tricked me. And I don't reflect as much on the time of denouncing the sorority, because I just associated so much with me falling for that delusion. But God today showed me that he was with me, that delusion never had me and never owned me. I never belonged to it. That my mental health was always in his hands. My wellness was always in the cross. The same way he came on that New Year's Eve at my brother's church. The same way he gave me the power to obey him. And these are just highlights, milestones. But the same way that he delivered me and showed up for me by faith is the same way he was with me, even through the mistakes I was making and falling for the deception of the enemy. And I don't even remember how old I was, 23, maybe 24. And so I need to appreciate that time more and not think of it as lost time, because it took me a long time. It took me like 2 years to really come up completely out of the grasp that thing had on my mind. Like, I knew it was a trick, I knew it was a lie, but it was so crazy to me how the lie had really planted seeds and had roots in different areas. And I thank God for talking me through that and showing me how the enemy was working and giving me a victory. But I still struggle with lust. I still struggle with sexual sin after that. But I had joy in the Lord. I had made up my mind to serve the Lord. I had made up my mind to not give my body to a man, just, do it on my own and not get caught up in an unhealthy relationship. But as I've talked about in other videos, you could be single and still be up under the burden of lust. And that's what these past couple years have been. hard to get my mind around how good God has been, because I made up my mind that I knew I would be free from it. I knew that I didn't belong to the burden of lust, the sexual lust. But it was so deeply wired into me, and it competed so heavily with my desire to just walk in the joy of the Lord. So for last year, for him to take that thing apart from me, to free my mind. I mentioned in another video, I did not realize how much I fantasized about sex until I finally stopped. It's no joke. And I think a lot of people don't realize how much bondage they're in until they're free. So I thank God for freedom. And I'm not trying to be out here crying, even though it's drizzling a little bit. I don't even know how long I'm gonna be out here, but I'm just paralleling the journey of my life to this moment with the interesting journey on the road to this place. And I'm thankful for this journey. So as I get ready for 2026, I've been praying and just even still thinking about how I'm going to spend the rest of this day, because I don't think I'm going to stay here for all of the daylight. I don't know, I'm not going to do the planning right here in this video, but I'm going to focus still on just being thankful for the journey here. I'm thankful for the journey to this point in my life, which is right now what it is that God is delivering me from, is fear. Even to get to this point, even to be sitting here on this rock in Jasper National Tree Park. I'm not far from the road. I just parked my car because I have the car. But the get here took so many rejections of fear and doubt. So many invitations into this false form of comfort. Because even after I left St. Louis, I'm thinking maybe I can go to New Orleans. I'm like, no, I'm going to go all the way. I get to Arizona. I'm like, man, it's amazing out here. And then I'm weighing whether or not I go to the Grand Canyon or driving at night. All these different things. A big pull. It was just this pull to be afraid that maybe I misunderstood God. Maybe I misheard him. Or maybe this trip to Joshua Retreat itself wasn't the point. Maybe it was some other thing. And I said in my last video that I would kind of explain why I didn't go to the Grand Canyon. Because I started to come up with this narrative that maybe it makes more sense for me to go to the Grand Canyon. I've always wanted to go. I will go. I've always wanted to go see the Grand Canyon. And so while I was in Williams, Arizona, I was weighing it, and I started to tell myself, you know, you've always wanted to go. Maybe that's the real purpose. And it wasn't me. It wasn't my voice. It was an invitation into an alternative journey. That was not the one God had invited me into. In the moment, I didn't quite realize it. But by the morning, in prayer, it occurred to me. You are being whispered to by lying devils, subtly trying to invite you on a journey that is not the one that God approved and set you on. Any deviation from the journey God has from you is a setback, it's a deviation. And so in that moment, going to Grand Canyon wasn't about me always wanting to go. It was about some alternative to get me off of what God had really clearly invited me into. I'll go at some point, but not this trip. I'm meant to be right here, right now, at this moment, December 31st, 2025. And even though I knew I was coming out here for a few weeks, it's just a miracle that I got to drive here in my own car. It's a miracle to me. And so the drive, I'm glad I stayed in there, even though I mentioned in another video I didn't really want to do a third overnight stay. The beauty of leaving Williams, Arizona in the morning was just the landscapes, the views, the mountains. And I got to drive about 66 through Arizona. The absolute beauty. Oh my goodness. And I'm just looking at the mountains now. I'm gonna switch it so you can see. I'm just sitting here looking at these mountains and hills and all these Joshua trees. And even though it's overcast, man, I cut the video off. It's still very beautiful. Even though it's overcast, I'm still very grateful to be here. And again, like I said, I don't know how long I'll be here, but I'm thankful. I'm thankful for this journey. I'm thankful that right now, even to get here, I've been able to conquer fear continuously. Conquer that little lion voice, recognize it, and now it's dealt with. Like, that's my 2026. My 2026 is obliterating and putting to shame every lion spirit of fear that thought it had claim of my life and my purpose. That is my commitment. That's my goal. That's my excitement. There's so much to do. There's so much God put in me. And it's not a burden anymore. It's not nothing to be afraid of. It's not nothing to be scared that I won't figure out. I don't gotta feel like I'm gonna let God now. No, He's empowered me. He's given me the grace and mercy, and all I have to do is keep following His voice. And that's what this journey has really showed me. Because I was in the hotel this morning, again praying, thinking about how I'm gonna make meaning out of the day, and I found a spot, not in the park, but like a reserve before you get to the entrance of the park. I'm like, okay, I'll go there first to see what's what. So I go there, took a few pictures, walked around a little bit. And it wasn't very wide open. I couldn't see the vast openness of it. And so I'm like, I need to see what's wide open. But I was looking at my money. I'm like, you know, I'm kind of getting towards getting a little past where I wanted with spending money and things like that. So maybe I'll just do this reservation and not pay to go into the park. It's just, again, another alternative to what God invited me into. So I was at that little reservation area and conservation area. That's what it's called, conservation area. And I'm like, you know what? The views ain't really getting it for me. I'm going to hop in the car, keep going towards the park. I found a few places on the map that I figured I can get to without doing too much long driving. And as I'm driving, I get to a point where I got to pay. I'm like, oh man, I thought I had like options. I'm like, maybe I can still turn around. Just nonsense. I'm like, why would I turn around? This is literally what I came for. Not to sit outside the park, but to see the actual vistas of this beautiful landscape. So I paid my little $35, drove. I'm like, I'm going to find a comfortable spot to park and do a little bit of rock sitting, maybe get a little bit of height, but really I just want to see the vastness, the openness. And so here I am, after so many invitations to take an alternate, unapproved route. And there's a lot of people out here too, even on a rainy day. And so there's also this little voice that says, oh, you're not really supposed to be out here. You know, you don't see that many people that look like you, but I belong here. I'm exactly where I'm supposed to be. So if you watch this whole thing and you know God, be encouraged and thank God for where you are and the journey that got you to right where you are. Mistakes and all, falls, flaws, setbacks, missteps, and all. Be thankful through all of that God was with you on the journey and got you here. And if you don't know Him, get to know Him and watch how He makes sense of your journey. Even the parts of your journey where you didn't believe in Him. He will take it all and give it meaning. He is the meaning. So be encouraged. Be encouraged, be encouraged, be encouraged, be encouraged. I think I'm going to wrap this one up. This is going to be my last video of 2025. Very thankful. Thankful for the journey. The journey of my life. The journey on the road. And thankful for what's ahead. So y'all stay blessed. See y'all in 2026.